Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Today is the last session of our series on Muharram in relation to the martyrdom of Imam Hussein. And we have traveled different parts of the world looking at the life of those individuals who offered their own lives and everything that they had in defense of humanity and defense of human rights and human dignity. We all know that the life is sacred. Not just the life of Muslim, not just the life of Jews, not just the life of Christianity. Because God does not distinguish and make discrimination of people on the basis of the tags that they carry on. But then there comes a moment in the life of individuals when the life and the goal of life becomes more important than the life itself. And that is a call that we have seen throughout human history, that there are individuals who understood this principle that yes, life is important. But there comes a moment when the goals of life become more important than life itself. And it is in that particular context we see the struggles of those individuals towards the, uh, the humanity and towards truth and justice. It is in that particular context we see that the Imam Hussein's struggle is unique because not only that he offered his life, but he convinced his entire family, the people closest to him, the people who knew him, the people who grew up with him, the people who were his own blood, to set an example that how the truth is first practiced within the confines of your own circle and then moved on to the people. And that's why we find that the movement that was led by Imam Hussein, that was being suppressed by the successive rulers who claimed themselves to be the followers of Islam and who tried to put it down, never succeeded. And today, on the path of Imam Hussein, we find that those individuals whose name we have mentioned, many of them take inspiration from the struggles of Imam Hussein. Mahatma Gandhi wrote extensively about Imam Hussein. And in fact, in today's India, you will find a large number of people who call themselves Hussaini Brahmins who believed that they were part of that movement that was stood up for the rights of the people based on the sacrifice of Imam Hussein. Same things we find in China, same thing we find in Turkey and other places. So without any further delay, I will give it back to Dr. Walji to conclude today's discussion on Imam Hussein's life and comparison with those people who we have discussed. Over to you, Dr. Walji.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Today is the 10th of our series, the 10th event in the commemoration of Muharram is usually the culmination representing the day of Ashura, the 10th of Muharram, when the 72 martyrs gave their lives along with Imam Hussein as a beacon for standing up for justice and righteousness. We have been looking at various luminaries in the history of humanity who have done what they could to perhaps use all their resources to stand up, be it for the rights of humanity, be it for injustices, or be it for any kind of doctrinal domination that was being affected upon the people. On that fateful day of 10th of Muharram, Imam Hussein is reported to have stood alone when almost all of his companions had given their lives. And finally, he also, asking for some water for his 6-month-old baby, also lost the 6-month-old baby when this baby was martyred by the enemy forces. This was a time that the grandson of the Prophet stand up and famously uttered these words to say, Hal min nasirin yansurna, is there a helper who is going to help us? All those who could have helped him in battle lay on the burning sands of Karbala on that fateful day. Who was he calling out to when he said, is there a helper who is going to help me? Well, the witnesses that we have talked about in the last 9 days are amongst those before him or after him who seem to have answered that eternal call, that universal call to say, help me towards justice. That is what he was calling out. So when we look at the annals of history, the stories of Thomas More or Al-Hallaj or Sarmad Kashani, Said Nursi, be it, the others that we have covered in this series, be it, Martin Luther King Jr., be it Malcolm X, be it Mahatma Gandhi, or be it any of the others, like we had various other people that we have reviewed in this day, Joan of Arc, for example, Nabi Isa, Archimedes, Akiva. These were the people who answered that call. And these are those who have had their lives woven into the fabric of human consciousness. Each of these luminaries, in their unique way, faced the formidable forces of political domination, choosing to stand resolute in the face of overwhelming odds. Their narratives are more than mere recollections. They're call to action, urging us to raise above complacency and confront the injustice of our time with unyielding courage. Imam Hussein's stand at Karbala is the zenith of this timeless narrative, that in the blistering heat of the desert, surrounded by a small band of loyal followers, he faced the vast oppressive forces of Yazid. The same kind of situation was dealt with by the other witnesses that they have looked at. So be it the events of any of those luminaries that we have reviewed in this series, or the event of Karbala, are not merely historical footnotes, but a living and a breathing testament to the ultimate act of defiance against tyranny and injustice. I say, to conclude, that their legacy lives on, urging us to rise, to resist, and to remain steadfast in the face of oppression. Their sacrifices teach us that while the struggle for justice may be fraught with peril, it is also a path that leads to the highest form of honor and legacy. In every act of courage, in the luminaries, the witnesses that we reviewed, every stand for the truth, every moment of resistance against tyranny, we carry forward the torch of their legacy. And particularly as we commemorate Muharram, we remember Hussein's legacy, ensuring that this message continues to inspire and guide us through the ages. My friends, their stories are not distant echoes of a past living, but breathing inspirations that challenge us to carry forward that torch. Whatever is happening in the world today, there are many areas of strife. In particular, in this day and age, we remember the people of Gaza. There are things that we all can do, each in its own. Let us honor these sacrifices by embodying their spirit in our own lives, standing firm against oppression in whatever way we can, advocating for justice, and living with unwavering integrity. In doing so, we will ensure that their legacies continue to resonate through time, inspiring generations to come and forging a world where justice, truth, and righteousness prevail. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the opportunity of sharing these messages with you. We hope that we made a small dent in the consciousness of our listeners to say there is time to stand up, there is time to do something, and we hope that this series have inspired you to take up a cause, whatever that cause may be, a cause against tyranny, a cause against injustice, so that we can, on the day of judgment, tell our Lord that, Ya Allah, I did what I possibly could. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.